Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be listening to this show. Rebel Rebel by David Bowie. By the way, to show how musically uneducated I am, I did not know this was a David Bowie song.
You didn't?
I did not.
Did you just type in Rebel and see what happened?
Yes, I did.
That's like one of his classic songs, too.
I know. Once again, just goes to show how musically uneducated I am. Welcome to the pregame show. I am your host, Ethan Collins, your normal pregame show host, joined as always by Chance Collins.
Hello.
And joined last week and for this week is Jonathan Edwards. Jonathan, how are you today?
Oh, man, I'm always good talking about CB football.
So we're just going to have you here for the review, and if you want to stay for the coach's interview, you can as well. Wanted to talk to you a little bit about your thoughts here. I have like a few questions, and I'm sorry I did not send these to you, so I'm just going to kind of let you answer these how you please. The slow start. Do you feel like against Ritchie County it came down to like a little bit of playoff jitters? I mean, these guys were freshmen the last time they were in the playoffs. None of these guys played a whole lot.
Yeah, I wasn't shocked at all, and we talked about it off air, and we talked about it on air. Don't be shocked if Ritchie County comes out and smacks you in the mouth, and they did. But also Clay-Battelle, I mean, stuck right in there. They never trailed in the game, but it was everything you want in a playoff round. One game, like you said, you have that early adversity, but you don't have to worry about it. Your guys stay healthy, and you walk away with a convincing win.
So defense settles in after that first drive by Ritchie County. How would you say that kind of came about? What defensive adjustments did you see that they made to really just kind of settle in and make stops?
Well, I think it might have been LePeau or one of the other coaches that talked about the scout team wasn't going fast enough during the week, and I think they saw that because the scout team can't replicate everything. And Ritchie County did have some speed, and it showed early on, but the defense, once Ritchie County showed their hand, and we saw on tape how they do that a lot, once they showed their hand in this situation, because I think they ran a different game plan than they usually did. It felt different, at least, from my perspective. Once Clay-Battelle figured that out, I think it was smooth sailing after the fact.
Offensively, it felt like they were able to do pretty much anything they ever wanted. Yes, the run game kind of stagnated at times, but you just kind of live with that to control the tempo of the game, and it ended up working out for them pretty well.
Yeah, that's playoff football. I mean, it's not – a lot of these first-round games can either be blowouts or it can be an unexpected close game, and for the first half of this game, it was pretty tight, and just one night removed after the RCB upset. I mean, I think people were on edge, including me, for a hot minute. But again, I think once you got the run game going, it was a drive-by-drive basis. One time they'd come out and have to struggle to get 2 yards, and then they would come out another drive, and they would gash for 7, 8, 15 yards every rush. So hard to put an analysis on that.
Holding penalties.
Oh, man. I've been out to Clay-Battelle twice, and both times I think I couldn't count on one hand the amount of holding calls. At part of me, maybe
it's Jonathan.
But we're 2-0 when I'm out there, so I'd be careful what you say.
What's Clay-Battelle's record at home?
Undefeated.
No.
Fair enough.
So part of me thinks that, some of it was some questionable officiating, but I also think it's something Clay-Battelle needs to work on.
Okay. Chance, your over-under in passes did not hit because you slammed the under. And I mean that metaphorically, and I also mean that literally.
How many
really
passes
wanted
did
to
we
run.
I don't
actually, you know what? Let me pull that up real quick. But while I pull that up,
you said 5. Sorry, you said 5. Chance said 0. I said 8.
Just to regulate on things of what was said. You guys were on the radio. I'm listening from Philadelphia. They throw the first pass, and you go, well, that breaks chances. He said not to throw the ball all the game. I bet he's screaming in Philadelphia, run the darn ball. And I pretty well was. I was in the Philadelphia Convention Center asking why after 2 runs of 8 yards plus we put the ball in the air. But It is what it is.
I got that text probably 30 seconds after we said something about it, too. So that's right, Jonathan.
So I only have it as 3 attempts. But
That was at half.
That was at half?
Yes.
Okay.
He was one of 3 or 2 of 3 at halftime. I can't remember right offhand. The stats that I talked about at halftime were the last ones we got because shout out Michael Griffith from the Dominion Post because he gave us those. I tried to keep up with it for a little bit, lost track pretty quickly. So those were the first half stats. I would say it hovered probably around the 10
around
mark.
8.
I'd say 8 to 10.
Yeah.
Because really late in that game, they started throwing the ball around. Those final 2 drives, they were putting it in the air.
Last question I have for you, improvements on what Clay-Battelle needs to do from this week to next week as other than just the holding penalties.
Well, that's the thing. Wirt County, I think, is a more well-rounded team, and so you can't just put all of your effort this week into one player to focus against. That scout team's going to have to do a lot of work to get Clay-Battelle ready for a filthy Wirt County team that's quietly 8-3 and dominated. Well, not dominated in the first round, but a week removed from them getting blown out by St. Mary's. They come out and beat them by 13. So a lot more to prepare for. So I guess just have your head ready in the game and know that it's not going to come easy. You saw it against Ritchie County. 44-8 doesn't show how close that game was for 2 quarters.
Any final thoughts on the Magnolia recap? Magnolia recap. Ritchie County recap?
I think Ritchie County was as billed, tough, gritty, going to give you a fight, especially in the first half. But
exactly what you needed in the first round.
This was pretty textbook to what I expected.
Huh, that's fair enough. You will not be with us.
No, hard decision. But I had some prior commitments as much as I wanted to. But if we somehow if things work the way they'd like to, I might be in the area if they play somewhere down in the southern part of the state.
But what if they play in the northern central part of the state?
Well, it would depend on the kickoff time of Texas Tech or Friday. Well, if it's on a Friday. We're thinking too hard ahead. We're too far ahead. Let's focus on Wirt County. But I'd like to be around in some capacity.
Fair enough. We'll keep you around for the coach's interview. What do you say?
I'm for it.
All righty. That's going to do it for the Ritchie County review. When we come back, we'll preview Wirt County on the pregame shows. Just getting started here on WAJR.com.
Josh Heinerman here with Advanced HVAC and Plumbing. For over 25 years, we have been making Morgantown homes cozy and efficient. From emergency repairs to energy-efficient upgrades, your comfort is our top priority. A proud supporter of high school athletics, Advanced is the area's only factory-authorized Carrier dealer, but we can service any brand or model. Carrier, turn to the experts and turn to Advanced.
I haven't got time to chat right now, even if you're keeping my feet warm. I'm feeling like crooning my tune. It's about me and goes like this.
The wonderful things about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. The tops are made out of rubber, the bottoms are made out of springs. The bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful things about Tiggers is I'm the only one. The wonderful things about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful chaps. They're loaded with vim and with zinger. It must to leap in your lap. They're jumpy, pumpy, clumpy, comfy, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful things about Tiggers is I'm the only one. Tiggers are cuddly fellas. Tiggers are awfully sweet.
Did you like that one?
I like that one. Wirt County Tigers, by the way.
Yeah, Wirt County Tigers preview show, by the way. Yeah. So, welcome back to the pregame show here on WAJR.com. If you heard that, that means that it's time to talk about Wirt County. So, Chance, I'm going to give you some numbers, courtesy of our good friend Jonathan. 114 miles separate these two schools, approximately a 2.5-hour drive. First ever meeting between these two teams. 10 straight wins for the Seabees. Wirt County has won 4 of its last 5 games. Clay-Battelle now has 37.4 points per game with 10.9 points per game allowed. Also 8-0 at home this year. So, and for, surpassed win total from 2024 long time ago. And first playoff berth since 2022 with a round 1 loss to Williamstown, highest playoff seeding in program history, 17th playoff berth in program history, and we are now 5-16 with an all-time playoff record. As for the Wirt County Tigers, 5-1 on the road in 2025. 39.2 points per game, only allowing 18.7 points per game on the road. 7th season under Jason Hickman, 4 playoff berths, 1-3 playoff record. Total points this season, 34.4 points per game, 24.4 points per game allowed in 2025. Outscored the opponents 378 to 268. Once again, defeated St. Mary's in the first round 27-14. Outscored 150 to 34 in their 3 losses. By the way, those were to Wahama, Eastern Ohio, and St. Mary's in the last week of the regular season. Those scores were 47-13, 55-6, and 48-15. So, Chance, do you recognize a commonality in losses? Low scoring. Don't want this to go to a shootout.
Correct. You want to keep them off the board, but as I was kind of speaking before we started recording, quarterback is pinpoint on his accuracy if you let him improvise.
Yeah, Tyler Smith is a name that you're going to hear a lot on our broadcast because he's going to hold the ball. He's going to want to make this a backyard football game. I mean, that's really how I can best describe it.
Yeah, it's a good way and a good analogy of it, because if you keep him in the pocket and make him be a pocket quarterback, his accuracy goes down. He doesn't like being pressured. He likes getting to the outside. As he's roaming and making things happen, I've seen plenty of plays that he runs to one side of the field and turns around and runs to the other before he throws. He's got a couple elusive receivers, and he's got a couple bigger receivers that have really good hands. They're not the fastest, but when he gets back here and he gets doing that backyard football thing, he normally, one of them finds a way to get open. If you keep them in the pocket, they don't get open as easy.
Give me the 3 targets. You can do numbers, and I'll read their names off here, but give me the one that scares you the most last, but give me the other 2 guys, because I know you'll want to talk about them more on the defensive side as you would the offensive side.
One that scares me the most, and the most shocking part is he's a freshman.
Andrew Limley.
Number 11.
Mm-hmm. Andrew Limley.
He is their speed guy.
Slot.
He plays in the slot. He gets open. If you're going to get beat deeper than 10 yards is what I'm going to say, that's their guy. Has phenomenal hands. Seen several diving catches by him. He's a guy you've got to cover from start to finish, and with their quarterback's accuracy, you can't give him that inch. Now, do I think he's as fast as Clovis? Do I think he's as fast as Ponceroff? No, I don't. But for them, he's their fastest guy, and if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. The other 2 are 8 and 9, which are
8 is Jacob Moore, a senior, and 9 is Easton Wire, their tight end, who is also a senior.
They find a way of getting and settling at the sidelines on different sides of the field. Really good hands, don't drop a whole lot, but they will go and settle in a place and kind of just wait for the defense to move away from them, and then he finds them. Levin's more of getting caught in stride. All 3 of them with the quarterback's accuracy, though, make a deadly combination.
This the best passing attack you think we've faced so far this season?
Interesting question.
Riverview was good. Quarterback.
Cameron was good.
They had one really good receiver in Sawyer Reed, and they had a quarterback who could hit him and could read a defense. Here's my biggest issue, okay, with Tyler Smith. If he was my quarterback, okay? He relies way too much on his improvisation to make plays for him. He reminds me of a senior seniored and bigger, taller Maddox Bowen. And for those that don't remember, Maddox Bowen was the quarterback for Wirt Madonna, who transferred to Oak Glen. Shifty, as you said, a gnat. I think that's what you called him.
I referred to the guy Wirt Madonna as a gnat.
I think this guy's more of a skeeter.
You know who he reminded me of watching on film was Ponceroff last year at the quarterback position.
That's a good comparison.
You know, a little bit taller, a little bit skinnier, was able to do things with his feet. I do think this guy is more accurate than Ponce was last year as far as when he gets outside. Inside the pocket, very similar quarterbacks. This guy's just able to do a little bit more once he gets out there in the open field where he can improvise, make a little bit. He doesn't like throwing the ball with somebody close to him. If he gets out and away from people, it's like he calms down and everything slows down for him to where he's doing it. The thing about number 11, talking about receivers, he's a smaller guy. He just needs that one little inch. I'm trying to think of the
Tyler Lockett.
Yep, I was trying to think of the Buffalo receiver from last year that. Oh,
Beasley?
No, he came there from the Texans, I think. We'll move forward.
Okay.
I mean, just kind of a slot receiver that always finds a way to get open.
That's who he reminds me of. It's Tyler Lockett. There is a slight discrepancy with number 11, Andrew Limley's game. I will let you voice your concern.
False starts on every play. He goes on the clap.
Doesn't go on the snap.
Doesn't go on the snap. And I don't know how he gets by with it because it's not like it's close. He's a good half a step into starting everything. The only thing I can think from a ref's point of view that the reason they're not catching it is the point is he's always off the ball. And they're
He's not on the line of scrimmage.
He's not on the line of scrimmage. But he is darn close to even with the guy at the line of scrimmage when the ball gets snapped. And he's got that momentum going. And like I said, he's quick. He's fast. And I think that little bit of half step sometimes gives him the advantage to beat you on the deep route.
So, do you want to go defense or offense in how we attack it first? Because we haven't even really discussed the defense yet. So I guess we should probably go offense, shouldn't we?
Let's go ahead how we attack them defensively is what I'll say.
Okay. Well, here's a little scouting report on them. 8 and 9, which 8 is Jacob Moore, Easton Wire, number 9, are their two best tacklers. And you wanted to say that number
54.
That is Caden Stilgenbauer, who's their defensive end.
He does a good job of rushing. He seems to do better against slower offensive linemen, is what I'll say. Like he's not the fastest guy. I think he would struggle against Mercer if he gets a little bit of space with Gump. Just, Gump's bigger, not quite as quick feet as Mercer. He might be able to get to the backfield a lot. The more film I watched on him, the more I started questioning how good he was, but he is definitely their third best disruptor. I know on the defensive side of the ball, if 54, 8, or 9 don't get you, you can run through the individual. Their cornerbacks are small, except for their quarterback, who plays cornerback also. But he don't like to tackle. He's more of a come up and he throws himself at your feet type guy. I watched one game that he took a pretty good hit, and you could just tell that did not like it at all. That's not his game. But if you can get past the linebacking core, you're going to make some yards. Like I'd take Caleb Hall in a one-on-one running over, not even necessarily going around, going through anybody in that secondary and just keep gaining yards. Like you're going to fall forward. It's not one of them, you may not break every play, but I think when they hit you, they're going to go backwards, you're going to go forward type thing is how to word it. Seen some missed tackles. I'm not going to say the worst tackling team in the world, but there's definitely arm tackles to be broken is what I'll say in the secondary. The front, 66 on their defensive line is not fast at all, but I'll compare them to a telephone pole with a car. If you go to just 2 inches to the left of it and 2 inches to the right of it, you're okay. But if you center that thing up, it's going to hurt. Can't move the boy at all. He does not move. I mean, he's had some decent guys in front of him. Try to shove him. It normally takes 2 to get him, and still you're not moving him more than a foot or 2. He's an anchor for their line, but you run to the left and right of him, he does not have the speed to go with you.
So what you're saying is that the run game can be very effective against this Wirt County team. Okay, so talk to me about passing. Can you attack this team vertically down the field, I guess you can say?
You know me, I'm a 3 yards in a cloud of dust type of guy. Like, if I'm going in with a game plan, I want to run it 9 out of 10 times at a minimum. The more film I watched on this team, the more I said, I don't know, do we pass? I feel they're open. 2 of their starting 4, because they normally, in a lot of the games, they had 4 corners out there. 2 of their starting corners are freshmen. We've talked about how you mature normally from the sophomore to junior year. Now you're talking about a freshman out there playing.
The hardest position to play in football, in my opinion.
Their quarterback is one of the other corners, which he's tall, but his speed is not elite. As we kind of talked, he's more of a shifty, Nat style guy. He finds a way to be elusive. And the other corner, once again, just not that impressive.
Dylan Hutchison, by the way, freshman.
Freshman, okay. Now, is that 24?
That is 24.
I can tell you their broadcast team refers to him as the human missile. He does like to get involved in the run game, coming up and making tackles. He's a small guy, but he does like contact, unlike the quarterback does on the defensive side. Quarterback don't mind it as much on the offense. It seems like he'll get hit, and it's not like he's shying away from it, but he does not like to come up and lay the load down on you. But 24, he's a scrapper. He's a small kid, but he wants to get in there and hit.
I prefer switching to guns as opposed to missiles.
Interesting.
His
guns ain't very big. I can tell you that. Maybe that's why they call them missiles.
But and then their other safety position, number 3, who likes to get involved in the run game as well, because Limley, number 11, is their free safety. So he's the guy that's back up, covering everything, making sure everything's in front of him. Brody Goodwin, who's number 3, he's kind of their safety that likes to push up. And if you have a guy in the slot, supposedly, if you have a guy in the slot, they're probably going. So here's the way I think about it, okay? Because I'm sure that they're thinking about this in the head of what do they do when we do our normal formation. And the formation that we do the most normally is twins receivers to one side, tight end on each side, okay, with one tight end on the line of scrimmage and one tight end behind an offensive lineman, usually Cooper Payton. And then you have a running back on one side or the other, and that's our main that is the formation that I have seen us run the most. I would imagine, this is just me talking here, I would imagine that what they're going to do is they're going to put Tyler Smith on the wide receiver, which usually is either Clovis or Trey Huggins. Okay.
Clovis can
dart that guy.
Yes.
Okay. But the thing is that the person that they're going to put on their slot receiver, which is usually Braden Ponteroff, is Brody Goodwin. As you said, they call Dylan Hutchison a missile who likes to get involved in the run game. I would imagine that he is going to play like an edge. Essentially, they are going to. I feel like they are going to crowd the line of scrimmage with 5. They usually do 4. They're going to do 5 this time. Okay, maybe they will do 4, but then they'll have 4 linebackers comprised of number 30 Anthony Morgan, number 8 Jacob Moore, and number 2 Peyton Dye, and then they're going to have a 4th Dylan Hutchison. And they're going to have those guys just kind of basically say the 2 outside linebackers, which would be, if you brought in Dylan Hutchison, it's Dylan Hutchison. And then Peyton Dye, you cover the outside runs. Anthony Morgan, Jacob Moore, you cover the inside runs. Cool! Because I'm taking that counter and I'm taking the pull the guard thing, and I'm going to light Jacob Moore up, and I think you can break the tackle of Anthony Morgan or Peyton Dye every single time.
Yep, I want to run. If you can run away from 66 on the other side, because he normally plays one side of the center on the defensive tackle position. If you can run away from, if they put him,
you run away. So the way that I have it lined up, 66 is the D tackle on the right side, 54 is the D end on the right side, 69 is the D tackle on the left side, 9 is the D end on the left side. So I know we're kind of getting into schematics here real quick.
I'm going to run towards 9.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to let Cooper, as you said, pull.
And light him up.
That's who he looks for. I'll take my tailback. I'll take
Cameron Mercer over him every day of the week.
But
he's a wide receiver lined up, or a tight end lined up as a defensive end.
But I'll take Caleb Square versus anybody else that's going to match up against, as long as Cooper Statler takes that guy out. As in blocks. Once again, as we always clearly state with an asterisk, we're not meaning hurt.
No,
we're meaning just light up.
Yeah.
Get a good hit on and open up the hole. I feel that's what we're going to try to go with. If for some reason they are able to stop the run, boy, I think the pass game is going to be there.
Okay. I don't see them force a lot of fumbles. Have you noticed that? They don't try to punch the ball out.
They normally, because it takes more than
one guy
to get them down. Yeah. They are on a little smaller side. I mean, you got two. It is a senior lad team, which is something you gotta watch.
But here was my point on the whole. They don't try to punch balls out. I count maybe 3, 4 guys that could tackle Corey Cohen straight up. Outside of that, I think Corey Cohen could run through everybody else.
When you watch the Tulsa video, it made me think this could be Corey's night.
Yeah, like I sat there and I was like, this is Corey, like to a T. Now, I understand they lost that game by 3, but Tulsa doesn't have the offensive line that I feel like we have. We talk about this all the time. The left side is our apparent weak side, comprised of Huggy Bear and Cameron Mercer. I feel like you go almost anywhere else in the state, that's a strong side offensive line.
That kind of leads into something. I'll say that Tulsa lost, but it led into something else I kind of seen on film along the way, because I ended up watching the St. Mary's game YouTube-wise through the Wirt County broadcast, and there's a play that you didn't know about that I explained to you.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to go to the offense.
And then I'm going to go to the sideline for a moment.
Okay.
Their sideline works like Sherman's sideline works.
Okay.
They're constantly in the ears. And, that's as I like to say, that's a program thing. If you want to work that or you don't want to work that. I know some coaches like to talk to the refs before the game and go, hey, this is what we're seeing, and let the game play out. I feel they're a little bit different. There was a call in the St. Mary's game last week that the ref 5 feet from it called it out of bounds, and they work on the guy 30 yards up the field who comes in, talks to the head judge, and they reverse the call. There was a catch in the Tulsa game that I think it's obvious on film that the guy drops because he's trying to reach for it on the ground because it's a yard and a half from him while the ref's behind him and his back's in between, and they count it as a catch. Their sideline is very animated. They got a guy who tosses a towel up and down, which irritates me to death on film, is what I'll say.
Also irritates me because I think it's a flag.
But before we go to the other side of the ball here, I'll go into the thing of they're a team that has won tons of games by playing. If you go back and watch the Tulsa game, you definitely see it. They play mental games, not that they're, I'll say the word one time, they're not dirty.
No.
They play to the edge of the whistle. Like there's a difference. There's certain teams out there I will tell you are dirty. They're not that. But they will take it to the edge of the whistle and try to irritate you to where if you slightly touch them the other way, they've went over and learned from the France soccer team how to flop. Like I watched.
They love to play mind games.
Yes, I watched a 225-pound lineman somehow on a one-handed touch fall 6 feet back, and he got the call. So you got to watch those mind games. They're going to want to do that. I see a little bit of the Sherman, not as much of if I'm not going to make the play, I'm just going to throw my arms in the air and act like I'm being held even if I'm not. If they get penalties on you, one player in particular, number 4, likes to dance. I don't know where he got that from. I don't know if his –
Is he a good dancer?
He wasn't bad. Wasn't
Okay.
bad. Like, I get it. He had a little bit of the walk, that little jive going on, but it was somebody jumped offside and he started dancing. They love to rub in things and see if they can get some salt in the wound, and they've kept themselves in games by doing that. It's a game that we don't want to fall into. They were on the verge of collapsing versus Tulsa. It was really close. They were getting in their own heads, and it was starting to work against them. And then they got that one big pass play, and it's like it changed the momentum, and they got back into it. You just got to watch that. I mean, we've got to watch stupid penalties. And there's no doubt in my mind they've watched film and tried to find out which one of our players they feel they might be able to get in the head of to get to do something, after the whistle. And they will try to edge that on. What I want us to do is go out and hit them in the mouth early and get up on them quickly to where that game never even becomes part of it, is what I will say.
Hit them in the mouth early and compliment them while doing it.
Yes. Nothing. I had a sergeant tell me one time at North Central Regional Jail, which I can't say the one word on air, but he goes, when they're saying that to you, you say thank you back, but know that you're really saying the other word back to them. And I have found that out that it will irritate a person more than anything else when they're mad is if you just look at them and say thank you. And I agree with you. Knock them in the mouth, look at them, help them off the ground, go thank you for falling on the ground for me. I appreciate it. And sooner or later it will work. You'll get up to where when they want to play those mind games, all you have to do is turn around and point at the scoreboard and let it speak for itself.
Okay. Back to on the field.
Yep, back to on the field.
So, defensively, I think you got to attack this quarterback the same way that you attacked Maddox Bowen. Contain, not sacks.
Keep him in the pocket.
Last week, it was the opposite. It was bring the pressure because he can't throw on the run. He couldn't really throw, period. But
both him and Maddox Bowen are willing to run backwards.
yes.
You don't need to make the sack. If he's willing to run 30 yards backwards, let your cornerbacks, hopefully, that means he's got to throw a 30-yard pass for a 5-yard gain. Hopefully your cornerback's there because I feel the games I've watched, we definitely have better cornerbacks and more speed in the backfield than a lot of them teams have had. Takes a little while for that ball to get there. Hopefully we can get some picks. If nothing else, we'll knock it down. I will say they'll catch it if it gets there, but make him run backwards, make that throw more difficult. If you let him outside that pocket, he is much more accurate on the move than he is inside that pocket. And like I said, if he's willing to run backwards and lose yards, let it happen.
Yeah. And he also likes to plant a foot forward as he throws. I understand that he's really good at quote-unquote throwing on the run, but by the technical term, I don't feel like he's good at throwing across his body or even really out to the right, which would be the strong side. He's a little bit okay at it because he can plant his left foot forward, but if he's throwing across his body, it is not accurate at all. So when he does kind of take that step forward, and as you said, Chance, he does not like to take a hit as he's being thrown. He doesn't mind a shove. He does not like to take a chest full of face mask and be planted into the turf.
Does not. And if you bring the speed rush too quick around the outside, he will just step up and run forward. And he's killed teams with 8-yard runs from the film I've watched of if you just get too aggressive. You almost want to keep one of your defensive tackles settled in almost as a spy, pushing the line back if at all possible, but not looking to get to the quarterback. Just make sure the quarterback don't get by him when he decides to run.
Just throwing this out there, I'm not sure if you want to put maybe a defensive tackle. The person that I've seen be the best and most effective at quote-unquote spying, I guess you could call it, is Tyson Price. You have him back. You have him available. You can switch things around to where your defensive line is comprised of Sandman, Huggy Bear, Cooper Statler, and Cameron Mercer and Josh Wilson. You can rush those 5. If you want to rush Cooper Payton and put more than one guy that they can block in there, I think you got to have Tyson Price in there as a spy because he is one of the best guys at attacking the horizontal. I shouldn't say attacking, defending the horizontal parts of the field in pursuit to tackle a player. And he's disciplined enough. Number one, he's quick enough. Okay. And he's so quick enough that, number 2, he's disciplined in his approach to tackles. He's not going to blind hit somebody because he doesn't get juked out very much.
And you probably want to teach him as the week goes along of don't go past the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
Let him come to you. And the reason you want that is when he runs backwards, now you've just gained another cornerback. He can play a little bit more loosely. If he's running to the left,
he's a former wide receiver, guys. He's got hands.
Yeah, if the quarterback runs to the left, he needs to find out where 8 and 9 is on the sideline because that's where they love to go. He'll run right to the sideline, throw it up the sideline, get a catch. They may get knocked out of bounds, but before you know it, they've gained 8 on you, they've gained 9 on you, they've gained 8 on you, and they'll just work that all night long. But I do like the idea of spying with him. Cooper Statler has come over center as a middle linebacker before this season. 66 is not the quickest. He's big. You don't want to run into him. But I do think we might work that angle this game a little bit more than we have in some of the recent games because I do think that him kind of coming over the center and the right guard is going to be open for Cooper to get to the quarterback and make him have to tuck it a little bit quicker than he wants to.
Okay. So let's go into that secondary real quick. You said number 11 is their best receiver who at least can take the top off the defense. Maybe not play for play, catch. He's got a really good catch radius, but he's their most dangerous receiver. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
May not be their best receiver, but he's their most dangerous. Who do you put on him? Do you put Ponceroff on him in the slot, or do you have him in the slot and put a safety over top of him?
I like Clovis on him just because of Clovis's speed.
Is this a guy that Clovis can catch up to
I think
while the ball's in the air?
I think it's a guy that Clovis can fly by while the ball's in the air with. Like, he's fast, but he's not the receivers we've seen in the past here lately. I mean, he's a step below. He's a freshman. He's small. He's, he false starts every play. That's where he gets a lot of his advantage. And his big plays are not.
That's kind of why I want Ponceroff over him at the line of scrimmage to do 2 things. Number one, bump him. Number 2, point at have the referee point. Hey, he's false starting. He's false starting.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that aspect at all. I guess my biggest thing is Clovis is a little bit smaller, and that's why I'm thinking if he's on 8 or 9, maybe he gets shoved around a little bit if they're able to complete it. I don't think they have a chance in the world of getting open on Clovis because they are not even remotely fast enough to do it. But I don't mind the point of putting Ponceroff on him, and as you said, pointing all the time that he's leaving on the clap, he ain't leaving on the snap.
You could make sort of Ponceroff like a nickel corner and have Santa Fe Clovis play like a safety, not have Ponceroff come back deep in run support that he's been doing all year. I get it. He's one of your best tacklers, but I also kind of trust Cooper Statler and Cooper Payton to kind of hinder this run game because that's another thing. This run game is.
Four's your dangerous one.
Yeah.
When he ain't in his own head, is what I'll say. But like, he's the guy you got to.
He made Gilmer County look bad, but I could make Gilmer County look bad.
He's a sophomore. He is a guy that in a couple of years I think will be a force. But at the same time, he's their better tailback out of the ones they have. Number 30 don't.
He just blocks.
Like, I almost think I'm fast enough to stay with 30, and everybody knows I'm slow as all get out. So. It just, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind if nothing else. Maybe what you do is you have Ponce bump him, but Ponce ain't there to guard him. You've got the safety over top of him. You just tell Ponce bump him.
Look in the flat.
And look for the quarterback or the flat. Yeah. I mean, 8 and 9 are not getting by Huggins and are not getting by Clovis on the outside at all.
The only thing that I can think of that 9 might do is if they go like kind of in an opposite flat and you've got them one-on-one with Trey Huggins, and I trust Trey Huggins to make that tackle. It may just be due to the fact that I sit there and I go, okay, I don't want him to get trucked though, because, you know, all due respect to Trey Huggins, he does have about like maybe 20 to 30 pounds on you, and I just don't want you to get run over. But I've never seen Trey Huggins get run over the whole season.
The nice part I noticed is with 8 and 9, they're catching it on the sideline, and they're willing to just be kind of shoved out of bounds. They don't even put up a major fight to try to get the extra yards. They're happy with that pass route and the catch. And, I mean, if they can do it consistently, it's a first down almost every time. It's either a first or you're setting up a second and short if it's on a first down play.
Going to wrap it up with this. We said the entire regular season when we started looking at playoff projections, and I said Wirt County is the one team that I did not want to play. Do you still feel that way?
Yes. I mean, as far as the bracket we're in right now, we all know who Wahama is and who Cameron is. Those are two teams that you don't. But Wirt's scary because their quarterback is pinpoint.
And he's unpredictable in the pocket.
He's one of them. They've stuck. I mean, I like to compare it to the CBs last year at the beginning of the season. Ponceroff was dangerous. Teams didn't want to prepare for him because he could run anywhere he wanted to, had a good arm. Maybe, like I said, I think this kid's a little bit more accurate than Ponce was last year at the age he was. But, you know, it's a senior quarterback, and he is definitely their leader. They will come and they will go as he goes. So if you're able to keep him in that back and don't allow them pass plays early, you know, if he starts to get frustrated, the whole team will kind of become frustrated with him because he will put him on his back and carry him if he can, and that's what you want to get away from. You want to try to get out early, keep him contained, and on offense, I think you just play your game. I really do. I think if you just keep playing and doing what we've done for – I'll say 11 games because I think we done it in the Cameron game too. You know, it just ended up a little bit short in that one at the beginning of the season. We've ran our offense most of the time and been successful, and I think we can be that way this time. Once again, I'll bring it up. Playoff football, hang on to the ball. Turnovers can change a playoff game in a heartbeat.
Well, we saw last week when one comes, sometimes a monsoon of turnovers come.
Wouldn't mind seeing that again the same way as we've seen it last week.
Yep. All right. That's going to wrap it up here. We'll see what Coach LePeau has to say about all this.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll take a break and come back. You are listening to the Clay-Battelle CB's pregame show against Wirt County in the quarterfinals here on WAJR.com.
Health works for you, for rehab and fitness too.
Keeping high school athletes healthy is something that HealthWorks Rehab and Fitness takes great pride in. That's why our certified athletic trainers work with many area schools during practice and on the sidelines during tonight's game. Unfortunately, injuries do happen in sports, at work, and at home. At HealthWorks, our goal remains the same, to get you back in action. When you need physical therapy, you need HealthWorks. HealthWorks Rehab and Fitness, Morgantown, Westover, Cheat Lake, Blacksville, Smithfield, Waynesburg, Fairmont, and Buchanan. When your body hurts, go to HealthWorks.
Our people make the difference in the way you feel each day. When your body hurts, go to HealthWorks.
I know this pain. Why do you lock yourself up in these chains? No one can change your life except for you. Don't ever let anyone
I got to turn this down because LeBeau's probably wondering why in the world did we pick this song.
Do you know what song that is, Coach LeBeau?
I don't know the name of it. What is it?
It is Hold On by Wilson Phillips, and we played it because we're tired of holding calls.
I was wondering. I knew there was going to be the part that I like. The main chorus or whatever. When it got to that, I would have got it.
Goodbye. Hopefully, we can say goodbye to holding calls. But
That's right.
anyways, welcome to the pregame show here on WAJR.com. Coaches interview segment sponsored by HealthWorks. When your body hurts, go to HealthWorks. Find a location near you at HealthWorksRF.com. And I'm here with a guy who now has his first playoff win under his belt. Coach, how does that feel?
It feels great. I mean, it's hard to talk about that when there's still so much work to do. So maybe I don't know, end of the season banquet. I can talk about how everything's making me feel, but I'm really happy for the kids. It was we've had a really fantastic season, and to be honest with you, if we don't win that first playoff game, so there's a lot of cold water on the season. So it's exciting that they went out and did what they were supposed to do first round there.
Only question I'll ask you about the Ritchie County game. I felt like the crowd was really into it. I'm hearing a little bit more cowbells coming in each and every week. I'm seeing the community Facebook reels. There's a lot of people ordering cowbells and stuff like that.
I see them for sale. More cowbell, baby. Yeah.
I was about to say, how did you feel the atmosphere was from your point of view in that first round playoff game?
Well, I felt it was a great atmosphere. I think people showed up, and you could definitely tell it was a big-time playoff game. But I also, I felt like I was down there at Capitol a little bit, where it's like this is expected, and this is what we do, and this is who we are now. And so, of that, like, we're going to be in the playoffs every year, and with a chance to win the whole thing every once in a while, see how that goes. So there was a little bit of, hey, it's like, I know we really hadn't been there before, but it felt like we had.
Coach, this was your, Clay-Battelle's first home playoff win and first home playoff game in over a decade. So, I mean, that's a big deal. And, I'll go ahead and ask the first question about the actual Ritchie County game. This might be the only one. Those two opening drives, I mean, Ritchie County came out and, punched back. So how did you get them to respond after that?
They did punch back, and they played hard. It's there was a few, like, we had a few blitzes, and they happened to squirt past us, and, had like a perfect play call versus a blitz. And then there was an out route, and I think Ponceroff tripped a little bit or something. He picked it later. He picked the same play later in the game and almost scored. So there was a little bit of things that just kind of were like a little unlucky as far as them getting that drive for us. But it's a little bit like everybody's good in the playoffs, and so people are going to be able to punch and fight with you for the first quarter or the first half, and but can they do it for four quarters? And I don't want to sound like that dude that I'm comparing us to like Ohio State, but Mr. Joyce is a teacher in the school, and he's watched a lot of our football games, and he kind of said, and he's a big Ohio State fan. He said,
that's a shame.
I know, right? I make jokes about that team up north and all that stuff. Always to seem to get that win, but he made this comparison of how these Big Ten schools will play it, like an Ohio Bobcats will be able to play with you for a quarter, but not the whole game. And he's like, watching you guys play is kind of like watching an Ohio State team do that. So I do think we wear people down, and we're big and strong, and that takes its toll on you after a while. So I'm proud of them for being able to be to keep it going in the second half. We've won a lot of games in the second half, down in the fourth quarter, so that's a good way to be.
Well, we'll pivot from one playoff game to another, and we'll talk about Wirt County here. Since I heard your high school sports line interview, I'll ask, how is your scout team Tyler Smith impression?
I'm retired this week. I had to, that kid's unreal. I can't do it. Trey Huggins starts at corner for us, but when he's not getting reps at corner, he's coming over and playing quarterback for us to try to simulate that. That kid's unreal. He's a fantastic athlete and quarterback. That's one of those deals where you can't simulate it. We're going to try the best we can and things like that. But I'm fired as a scout team quarterback this week.
That's fair. I think you could have done a pretty decent job. I don't know how your throwing accuracy is. I know you're a former.
I can run around, but I can't run around and make the throws.
Trey Huggins, though, does kind of resemble him just like a bit. I see where you're getting from here and getting kind of a similar player there, but it feels like he's kind of the engine that makes the car go, I guess you could call it. I mean, they've got some guys. Andrew Limley, who's their slot receiver, number 11, for a freshman, is absolutely got really good speed and stuff like that, and he seems to be the guy.
He makes some great catches.
And he seems to be the guy that takes the top off the defense, and then you got your guys that kind of just catch everything, and Jacob Moore, number 8, Easton Wire, their tight end, number 9. But Tyler Smith, the quarterback, is really what kind of gets them going and is kind of their make or break. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of in 2014, I was the offensive line coach at Capital, and our quarterback was Tyree Pratt. He won the Kennedy Award, and we would dial up some what we thought were great pass plays to X's and O's to beat the defense, but he could still just if something broke down, he could make every D lineman miss, and he could stay on his feet and then keep his eyes downfield, and just really hard to cover for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 seconds when he's just running around like that. So we won a state championship with a quarterback being able to make plays like that. So it's definitely an advantage for them to have a player like that on offense.
I know when I watched film, what I kind of got a feeling of was Ponceroff last year at quarterback. Really good arm, lots of mobility. I do think Smith was, I've said, a little bit more accurate because I do think he's a pinpoint passer. But that's who I found similarities between, was remembering watching Ponceroff for about the first handful of games last year.
Yeah, I think that was the idea to do with him, and he's such a phenomenal athlete. That's definitely, if you're coaching football, that's something you try and see. We found out we were a better team. That just didn't fit us as all of our personnel goes. And Ponceroff loves a receiver too. So, that kid can move and he can make people miss. And like I said, he can run and he can score running, or he can keep his eyes downfield and then make a crazy throw. And it's just, it's pretty. I said unreal. It's pretty incredible. Nice. They do a real nice job with it.
Talk to me about their run game. I feel like their fullback number 4 is a decent runner, and they've got some good size on the offensive line. What are you seeing there?
Yeah, their offensive line, they got some big guys. They have a guy about almost as big as our big Zach Gump. They got a number 66 that's 6'5", 305. Big kid. They got another couple big kids, not quite that big, but they got good size there. Yeah, number 4, number 30 run hard. And so they stay spread a lot. So there are a lot of 2x2 and 3x1, and not a lot of tight ends or fullbacks or anything like that. So, it reminds me I saw a lot of offenses like this when I was coaching down at Capital. So it reminds me of that kind of stuff.
We'll pivot over to the offensive side here. They kind of run a classic 4-3 defense, which we haven't seen kind of in a while, in my opinion. They also have a DB who really likes to get involved in the run game, number 24. And Chance, the Wirt County crew refers to him as the missile.
The human missile is how they refer to him on their TV broadcasts that they do.
Do you have a few flares in your cockpit to disassemble the missile?
Absolutely, yeah, sure.
Just to give you a heads up,
that kid he earns that. You see him on every special team he's on. He's first one down the field, whether it's kickoff or punt, and he flies and he's aggressive. I mean, I think he's a freshman too, but there's a reason he's playing. He's a good, tough kid.
Ethan will be driving the Maverick over, so I think we're going to be all right.
I'd take a Maverick gum right now too. But other than that, I don't think I'm going to judge tackling this week because Coach LePeau called me out on it. He said Ritchie County are pretty good tacklers. I think these guys actually are pretty good tacklers, and the three guys that really stand out to me are number 9, number 8, and 54 on the other defensive end side.
Yeah, the two D tackles are big and strong. Number 9's a good defensive end. Number 8's a good middle linebacker. You nailed that there. Yeah, I mean, there's only 8 teams left, so everybody's good at this point, so, it's impressive how they turn around and beat St. Mary's, from the last game of the season to the playoffs. And so, they know what they're doing.
You didn't have to bring that up, Coach. I was hoping for the miracle of the matchup for myself. But they did attack the one area that I felt we would have attacked this week if it would have been there for us. They went after the freshman corner.
Yeah, no, they did. And no, they made some nice plays there. And I do think we don't have a weak corner. We're real good at corner, at safety, and outside linebackers. So, it's a good challenge for us. But we also we're a strong defense. We played we played some passing teams at quarterback at Sherman, thrown for over 2,000 yards, and they had Trey Lester on that team, and so and some other teams along the way, and Cameron, Case and Angel was one heck of a quarterback. And you got some receivers, so I'm confident. I mean, I'm talking highly of Wirt and deservingly, but I'm also very confident in these Clay-Battelle boys.
Coach, switching the conversation over to more of the mental side of the thing. I know you were talking about after the game on Saturday that you were in a bit of a Saturday mindset, and I know you don't pick that, but got a 4:00 kickoff instead of a 1:00 this time. Does the prep change at all on game day?
Not other than I'm real big on making sure the kids eat at the right time. I think there's some science out there about you want to eat about a good meal about 3 hours before kickoff, and so so usually I was telling the kids to eat at 10 o'clock. For the 1:00 game. So, now they'll need to make sure they eat at 1:00. So I think that 4:00 works out fine. They can eat a good, healthy breakfast at a normal breakfast time, and eat a good lunch at a normal lunchtime, and then go play at 4. I think that works out as far as that goes. I could care less whenever we play. We'll figure it out as far as that goes, to be honest with you. I know some people get all – I think you do – I do think it would be tricky if, you get used to playing on Saturdays and then you go back to playing on a Friday and you lose a day there of just them getting their bodies back after, getting banged up in a real tough playoff game and stuff. So we haven't experienced – well, we did that. We played Sherman on a Saturday and then turned around and played was that Oak Glen, right?
Yeah, it was Oak Glen.
Played them on a Friday.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can do it, but that's the single A state playoff game is on a Friday. So, you'd be tempted to want to get back on a Friday schedule if you could, but also once you're doing this Saturday thing, it's hard to leave it.
No, that makes sense. I want to talk to you about a couple stats things because you were gracious enough to send me those this morning. Caleb Hall crosses over 1,000 yards. He's been kind of your bell cow this year, but I think the thing that shocks me is that he's got 8.2 yards per carry. Talk to me about how Caleb Hall has been able to really keep going and keep pushing that average even this late in the season.
Oh, I could have ran for 8 yards of carry behind this offensive line. You need to stop blowing up Caleb Hall. No, he hit the wrong hole today, and I'm like, we were blocking a guy out, and he ran outside of it, and I'm like, running backs, any running back can see that. How'd you run for 1,000 yards and not see that hole, buddy? I was just messing with him. He can take a joke, but he's a very good running back. But really, in all seriousness, he's run for 1,000. He's got 8.2 carry, but look at Corey's got 600 yards. Snodgrass has 600 yards. Look at our total rushing yards and our total deal, and that's what our offensive line is blocked for.
Yeah.
So I really do think. If we're doling out credit, it's like that offensive line is mowing people down, and that game seemed like the Ritchie County game. Felt close at halftime, but. And you look at the film, the other thing close was the score was 16-8, but we were, that was the best film we put as far as blocking goes. We were at an elite level blocking our not just moving people, but our assignments and everything. We were able to pick up some blitzes from different angles and still be able to pull guys and stuff like that. So, not to take away, I know you're talking about Caleb, but he's a natural. He has great vision, and he's natural running back. And the cool thing about him and Snodgrass is they love each other, and they're like brothers, and they're not fighting over who gets the carries. And they could care less who ends up in the end zone, and they're both unselfish at that position, and have no problem taking turns and getting switched in and out whenever we do. Real proud of him for that. He is just a really good kid too. I love being his coach.
One more.
I guess there's, the line doesn't mind blocking. Every once in a while you get a running back that's a jerk, and the line can't stand blocking for him, and they love blocking for him. So, that's a testament to him too.
One more person that I want to single out. Colt Sandy got his first touchdown of the season last week.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Could be too. Well, it was fourth down on the 1 yard line. I almost went for a pick six the other way.
Yeah, it did. But he tipped it to himself.
Yards. Yeah, that was beautiful, and I was so happy for him. And he's one of, I don't know if anybody's sacrificed more than him, because he when the 100 still had a school before they shut that down, he was the number one wide receiver, and he was lined up out wide and catching a lot of passes from Trey Huggins, and we've asked him to spend most of his time playing the defensive end and a blocking tight end, and that's with the makeup of all the kids on our team, that seemed to be the best fit, and that's really hard to do when you're like a kid his age, and when you get to, it's more fun to run around and catch ball out in space and stuff. And so he's had to do some really unfun things, but it's so vital to our team's success. So the amount of notoriety and stuff that he sacrificed for this team is, I can't speak about that enough for him. So I'm tickled to death to see something awesome happen for him in a playoff game like that. That was his first playoff game ever, and to catch a touchdown in it, I'm sure it's going to be a special memory for him, and I'm just really, really happy for him, and he's very deserving of something like that.
And I know you've brought up this as a complete community, kind of like going together. So I wanted to bring up the point that, if I am correct, our cheerleading squad, the ones that's normally cheering the boys on Friday night, left to compete in the state championships today. Is that correct?
Yeah, they left down there today, and they're going to be competing tomorrow at some point there in the middle of the day.
Hopefully, maybe I can get this out, maybe even before they cheer. But hopefully, we'll get a.
Yeah, we're rooting them on. We Double A was going first, and then was Single A, so we won't we were really wanting to go down there and cheer them on to return the favor of everything they've done for us. But it might entail us missing practice, and we just Nikki Mattingly, their cheer coach, totally understands and gets it. It's like you can't miss practice when you're trying to go after a state championship.
No, but I guess, right now is a good opportunity for, I think, all four of us to say that we wish them the best of luck and hope they bring a state title home tomorrow, and then the boys can do it the first weekend in December.
That would be really exciting for Clay-Battelle and Blacksville, and that would be. And they can do it. They know what they're doing. They look sharp. I've watched their routine, so absolutely, we're behind them 100%.
Last question before I let you go. Same kind of question as last week. University plays on Friday night, and then Morgantown plays at 1. So everybody in the Mon County area can come and visit your game. Why should they do that?
Well, bring a cowbell so we have more cowbell. But, these boys, just to come to support the boys on our football team and help them to a win, the crowd, the stadiums only has stands on one side, so the crowd's right behind us, and we can feel your energy and we can feel your support, and it helps us out a bunch. It helped us out last week, so please come and help us again. And so then we end up in the semifinals and get to play football for another week. We need you.
Is it weird that you don't have Mighty CBs or middle school practice? I think that's usually what you watch while you're talking on the phone with us. Is it weird to not have that, or and then you just get to go home right after?
I don't know. It's not weird. I'm happy that I get to spend a little bit of. I'm actually getting a little bit more time with my kids here. Getting to come home a little bit early. We're getting. We love skiing and snowboarding, so we're getting geared up for that. We go try it on our boots and our equipment and making sure everything's ready to go. So, no, that's not weird. I tell you what, the weird part is there's so many rules for the playoffs, and they always make the Mighty CBs help make the tunnel for us when we come out, and nobody from the stands is allowed to come down on the field during a state playoff game. So we miss them there. It's also weird with it getting dark at like 4:30. Yeah, we're practicing under the lights. That's different. But
I was about to say, in all seriousness, the day change doesn't confuse me that much. It's a 4 p.m. start, so we might get to the fourth quarter under the lights. No, you're going to get to game time under the lights.
Yeah, exactly. For this Saturday game, it'll still be dark for most of the game.
Yeah, so it'll feel.
Hey, that's weird. Well, if that means we're playing late in the season and we're playing for something special, we'll take it.
All right, Coach, give the family the best. Go spend time with them, and we appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you very much. Have a good one.
Thank you. That is the coach's interview, sponsored by HealthWorks. When your body hurts, go to HealthWorks. We'll be back to pick some games here on WAJR.com.
In a world where memories fade, preserving them shouldn't. I'm Rob Lang, fifth-generation owner of Lang Monument. My family has been helping Morgantown families honor their loved ones for over 150 years. Choose from granite, marble, or bronze with expert engraving and installation. A Lang member will guide you every step of the way. Celebrate a legacy that stands the test of time. Lang Monument on Don Knotts Boulevard across from the Wharf District, and online at langmonument.com.
That's the intro to the School of Rock, by the way.
I've seen that movie a couple times.
Kind of like the Clay-Battelle High School, School of Rock. Anyways. All right. Are you ready to pick some games, Chance?
Let's pick some games.
All right. We're not really going to go completely over the first round last week, and we're not going to go over who got what wrong and stuff like that. What we can say is upsets did happen. Some of our picks were right. Some of our picks were wrong. Actually, more right than wrong, I would probably say. We probably did. If you average this one out, it's probably a better average than our usual.
I'd say we're in the 80 to 90% probably on the Pickems. So we done pretty good last week, except one team in particular went and just wanted to destroy my bracket. And same as the NCAA tournament.
Not to mention the fact that you could have had 2 points on the line. 2 wins.
I could have if I'd chose the right ones, but every upset I chose did not work.
Anyway, so let's start out with Quad A here. First round matchups. No upsets to speak of. I did pick Musselman to beat Spring Mills. You did not. Spring Mills did defeat them 31-21. Outside of that, I'm looking at major standouts here. George Washington put up 58 points against Oak Hill, who was fraudulent. Let's see here. Do you want to go class by class, review and then preview, or do you want to go all review and then all preview? I'll leave it up to you. Putting you on the spot here.
Let's do it by class.
Okay, do it by class as he puts his glasses on. Okay.
Some of us are old and got to be able to see up close here.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it. Not really close games to speak of. The closest game was 10 points, and that was Spring Mills versus Musselman. Anyways.
Good review. I think that's where we can leave it with Quad A.
I think we can. So let's go to the quarterfinals here. 1 versus 8 on Saturday at 1 o'clock, the game that will preview ours. Because I don't know if you know this, Chance, but we will be on WAJR air. We are going to come in straight after the Morgantown High School game, which plays Saturday at 1 o'clock. Morgantown versus Spring Mills. Spring Mills and Morgantown met in the semifinals last year in what I was told was a cold, windy, not exactly wet, but very weather implemented game where Spring Mills had the better run attack and they came away with the victory to advance to the state championship for the first time in school history. Can they do it again? The 7-4 Spring Mills team against the 10-1 Morgantown Mohegans. I say no.
We're going to say they also played this year. Morgantown winning 21-0. I kind of see a similar result.
I think it'll be a little bit closer just because, I think Spring Mills was a little bit more battle-tested in the first round. If you had a point spread, not advocating for betting on high school sports in any way, shape, or form, but I would probably give Morgantown a 14.5. Probably.
I'd see that. I'd see
once again, I'm in no ways an official line maker, but 14.5 to me is what would move the needle.
I'd almost go with that. I mean,
okay.
I do think Spring Mills will get on the board this time, but I still think Morgantown's probably the better team.
Moving on here to 2 versus 7. Another Morgantown High School, but it's University High School, who is 8-3, by the way, taking on 9-2 Huntington. If you looked at the records, you would say, wow, this is a really good matchup. But at the same time, we know what each of these teams are capable of. University did put up 62 points in their first round matchup against Parkersburg, but a lot of penalties for University has happened all year. They're a pass-heavy team, which I think could stun Huntington a little bit, but I still have the Highlanders taking a commanding victory in this one.
This was the one I looked at, and I thought to myself, if I was going to choose an upset this week, this was going to be it.
Really?
But
that's interesting because there's another matchup that I feel like is a lot better.
A lot closer. There's something about University's passing attack I do feel that Huntington may struggle with. I am going to go with Huntington, but if I was going to choose one, it was going to be this game. But I'm going to stick with Huntington.
Wheeling Park versus Martinsburg.
Martinsburg.
Hey,
Flack's about to get whacked.
Whack's about to get whacked.
Is that what?
Yeah, it's whack.
I thought it was Flack.
No, Whack. All-time leading rusher, by the way, in Wheeling Park football history. That's very impressive.
He's had a phenomenal career, but I'm pretty sure it's coming to an end.
It's unfortunate that they have to play Martinsburg in the second round. Anyways, this is the matchup that I'm really looking forward to. Kyle Wiggs actually previewed it a little bit on Sportsline on Monday night. If you want to take a listen to that, they interviewed the Jefferson head coach. But Jefferson versus George Washington. Jefferson is 7-4 on a 7-game win streak. George Washington 9-2, with I believe their only losses coming to Huntington and Jefferson by the way of 1 point. So, this is a regular season rematch by 1 point. It was at George Washington. This time, I believe it's at Jefferson. Yes, it's at Jefferson. So,
I've always said that in order to win a championship, which I ain't saying they're going to win it, you've got to get better every week.
Jefferson has done that.
And I feel like Jefferson has done that, and I feel like being at home and the fact that they've improved every week, it's still hard for me to go against them. I think they're probably, at this point in time, in my opinion, I would go on record, and I know you'll probably disagree with this, I think they're probably the third best team in Quad A right now, behind Huntington and Martinsburg.
I might agree with that.
But I'm going with Jefferson.
Here's the thing about Jefferson. I believe if they win this game, and I'll have to double check with Luke Wiggs after this, so I'm sorry if I'm lying to you here, but Jefferson's never made it to the semifinals. Ben, you always hear me talk about it's very hard to have been there. It's very hard to get over that hump if you've never been there before.
It is. I agree.
So, with that being said, you're going to take Jefferson. I think I'm going to take George Washington in this one. But the 4-5 matchup, especially in the quarterfinals, is always a good one. Okay, let's go back to AAA here in the first round. Bridgeport, no surprise over Pikeview. Princeton, no surprise there. We're going to skip that game for right now. North Marion defeats Kaiser only by 11. Jonathan said that was a game that we needed to watch out for. Kaiser did lead it at a couple points. I thought this Nitro Capital game would be a very good game. They did end up winning 28-7, which is a comfortable victory. Spring Valley only gets by Elkins by 3. That's interesting. I believe they kicked a game-winning field goal, too. We thought maybe this Winfield-Herbert-Hoover game would be a little bit closer, and it ended up being worse than it was in the regular season rematch. And, Chance, I got to give you credit where credit is due. You thought Greenbrier East would give Chapmanville a game. I said I didn't think it was going to be close. It ended up being a game, albeit a offensive showcase, 46-37. Also, Chapmanville, I think, goes with only having one game where they didn't score 40-plus points, which is very, very impressive. So, with all that being... Oh, okay, so let's go to the big one that happened over the weekend. Number 14, Robert C. Byrd, who faced Fairmont Senior in Fairmont Senior's Week 1, Robert C. Byrd's Week 2. That was a comfortable victory for Fairmont Senior and the Polar Bears, and they took a rematch again at East West Stadium. Alex Wiederspiel, who did our AA preview but chimed in on his AAA thoughts, he thought this was going to be a good game. You and I looked at each other like, huh? What? Why would that be a good game? And Alex Wiederspiel made us all look foolish. Now, I was texting him throughout this game, and I said, you made me look foolish. And he said, I made myself look foolish. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be this good. Anyways, Robert C. Byrd wins on a 36-28 victory. I should be mentioning this. I listened to this game on the radio for Fairmont Senior's commentating side, and it was very interesting. Fairmont Senior had the ball with 1 minute left. They did a double pass. They essentially lateraled it to the running back, and he did a cross-field pass back to the quarterback, and he took it in for a touchdown. but it got called back.
Ooh.
And they just never recovered. So, Fairmont Senior did have a chance to win it, but this has got to be up there, top 5 most shocking upsets in playoffs. And by the way, I probably should eat my words as well, because the coaches came up to me after this and said, by the way, no more 16 teams in the playoffs discussion. That's done.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the L on that one, on that soapbox. That was a really bad soapbox on my part, and it will never be brought up again, because if you don't have 16 teams, things like this can't happen. And to tell you the truth, outside of that, the first round of the playoffs doesn't really get that interesting.
Yeah, and if you look at Marion County, there's, if I'm correct, 4 schools. There's Fairmont Senior, Robert C. Byrd.
Nope. Robert C. Bird's in Harrison County.
So I was going to say, if nothing else, RCB done it for the other 3, because it was North Marion, East Fairmont, and Fairmont Senior in there. In Marion County, always battle it out. Fairmont Senior always seems to come out on top. And, they always want the upset. It was nice of a Harrison County school to come in and kind of maybe get some revenge for us East Fairmont and North Marion fans
I can't
that
exactly
have been stomped by them.
remember if Bridgeport's technically in Harrison County or not. I think they are. Are they in?
That is a good question. I'm going to Google as we sit here and
But-
go on. But I will tell you this. This is a upset that RCB,
We'll talk about for a decade.
I'm going to word it this way to you. Like, I'm going to bring up a score that is hurtful to about everybody in this state. But this is the same that 36-28 is going to be for RCB and Fairmont Senior from this point forward, and it's 13-9.
Yeah.
Still hurts no matter how long it goes. It's going to hurt.
Oh, you 100% come in to Fairmont Senior next year if you're RCB wearing green and blue shirts that say 36-28.
I agree with that statement.
That's something you can hang your hat on. You wear hats. You give each player a hat that says 36-28, 36-28. Just like I would give you a hat that says 32-30. Triple over, and I'd put a little 3 overtime under.
And it still hurts this day. You was laughing when you was talking about the last time. It still hurts.
Yeah.
For the record, Bridgeport is in Harrison County.
Okay, so Bridgeport's in Harrison County. Can't necessarily say that they did it for the rest of Harrison County, because I think Harrison County's probably going to bring. You say they're probably going to bring home a state championship. No doubt in my mind that they can. I'm just picking Princeton. Anyways, Chance. Does the quarterback come back next year?
After this, no.
Do you think he would have if they would have won?
Yes.
Do you think he would have if they so you think even if they would have won just this game, he would have come back?
I had them, I won't lie, if you look at my bracket over here, I had them in the semis and losing to Princeton. I had them winning next week versus Spring Valley. I think if he makes it to the semis, he comes back because he feels there's unfinished business. But I think with the first round loss, they're going to have a difficult time keeping him from going back to Pittsburgh.
Well, you can offer him some NIL money.
You can do that now.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's move on to the quarterfinals in this one. Bridgeport versus Chapmanville.
Will be closer in the first half than some people suspect. And the only reason I say that is I think Chapmanville will score some early, and I could be totally wrong on that, but they do have speed. I don't think they'll stop the Bridgeport juggernaut, but I think they'll score some, be within probably, I'll say 14 at half, and then after that Bridgeport will just roll in the second half, but Bridgeport
puts up 50+. Chapmanville has their lowest season total. That's just my opinion. Princeton versus Herbert Hoover. To be quite honest with you, Chance, if I saw Princeton on any other, if I saw Herbert Hoover against any other opponent other than Bridgeport or Princeton, I would pick them to win. But they are against Princeton, so I'm going to take Princeton Tigers.
Princeton.
Nitro versus North Marion, the 4 versus 5 game.
Here's my upset. I'm going with Nitro.
I'm going with Nitro, too. They got the better players. I 100% agree with you. Now for the interesting matchup, 6 versus 14. Who would have had that happening? Spring Valley hosts Robert C. Byrd. I bet you Spring Valley didn't think that they were going to be at home twice in a row.
I can guarantee you that they weren't expecting that at all.
So, Chance.
I'll let you lead off with this one.
Oh, I'm taking Spring Valley.
Robert C. Byrd.
I'll give you two. I'll give you 2 if they win this.
Right. I think I've got a buddy of mine who graduates down Spring Valley, and I've seen some pictures he's posted online, watched a couple highlights of some of their games on Metro News. I just don't think Spring Valley's that dominant team they used to be. They used to just dominate with size, and I don't feel they have as much of it this year. And RCB coming off that big win like that may just take that momentum. Because if you can beat Fairmont Senior, you can beat other teams in this bracket. And I don't know. I believe it's going to carry them to another win.
North Marion, a 1-point loss. Lincoln, a 7-point loss.
They have some bad losses on their
71-point loss to Bridgeport. I understand it's Bridgeport, but here's the big circle, in my opinion. Grafton, 7-6. They won.
I looked at that too. It is scary, but how did they beat Fairmont Senior is the question.
And also, I mean, is it momentum or is it going to be a hangover? Was that your Super Bowl or is this the beginning?
I agree.
Is this the start? I understand it's easy to say, is this the start or is this the end? Well, if they lose, it's obviously the end. But at the same time, though, you can use that as something to catapult your season like nothing you've ever seen before. And if they do beat Spring Valley, which I'll give them credit, they very well could. I'm not completely ruling that out. You know, you win that's an insane season because then you just have to go to Princeton. And by that point, I mean, do I think they'd win it? No, but
to them, it's close to a championship
they
season.
have nothing left to lose, and to tell you the truth, Princeton has everything to lose.
And I think that's one of those well put. RCB going into that, you're right, could have the hangover, but I think their coaches are going to have them in that mentality you just said. Boys, we ain't got nothing to lose. Let's go leave it all out there. If not, you're still going to be able to tease a cross-town rival, from a local county that you took their season out when they were ranked number 3. You got nothing to lose. Let's go ruin somebody else's season.
Moving on to AA now. Frankfort beat Williamstown 49-7. Hey, it was closer than it was last year.
That's a positive.
With a younger team. Bluefield defeated Oak Glen 54-7. To me, that tells me more about how good Bluefield is rather than just how bad Oak Glen is, because we know how good Oak Glen can be.
Yes, it's different class of football. I mean, they were playing the top AA team, and it showed.
Philip Barber 36-8 over South Harrison. By the way, that game was a one-score game, I think, going into halftime. Lincoln actually gave Independence all they could handle for about 3 quarters, and then Independence woke up 142-17. I thought Doddridge County was going to be in a little bit of trouble here with Logan, but I thought they'd squeak by, and boy, was I wrong. Logan's quarterback throws 5 interceptions in the first quarter. Doddridge County goes into a dominant victory, 52-7. Chance, I'm sorry to say this, but I still think that just is a testament to maybe how bad Logan is as opposed to how good Doddridge County is. Anyways, I'll skip that one. Midland Trail defeats Petersburg 27-12. It was close for about 3 quarters, and then Midland Trail pulled away late to make a 1-score game a 2-score game. Petersburg can never really recover. Midland Trail probably one of the quietest 10-1 teams that we've seen throughout the course of this season. But anyways, you picked Petersburg in that one. I picked Midland Trail. Mingo Central defeats James Monroe 24-14. And then the upset that me and Alex Wiederspiel had written all over it. Our cousin Collins over at the quarterback spot in Clay County really had a dominating victory over Roane County, 44-12. Chance, I understand that Roane County was 9-1, but when that one loss is 16 seed Williamstown, you're going to be a little bit fraudulent to me. That's why I had Clay County. Anyways, they win 44-12. So we move on to the quarterfinals here, and it is number 1 Frankfort versus number 8 Mingo Central. I'm going to take Frankfort, don't get me wrong, but I think this is going to be a lot closer than people think. If I was a line maker, I would probably put this one at about 21.5, just because of the fact that I think Mingo Central can pass the ball. Do I think Frankfort can cover the pass? Yes, but do I think they've had a lot of experience covering the pass? No. Other than maybe Herbert Hoover. And by the way, Herbert Hoover could score on them.
I would take the points and take Frankfort.
That's fine.
I think it's going to be – I have a different feeling on this one. I think Frankfurt's going to run. I think Mingo Central had a good season. Frankfurt's a juggernaut in Double-A.
Now, this is one that I actually don't think is going to be close at all. Friday night, Bluefield takes on Midland Trail. I got Bluefield winning in a absolute blowout.
Same here. Beavers.
Clay County versus Philip Barber. Clay County 8-3 now. Let me take a quick look here at their losses. Let's see here. They lost to Roane County in the third week of the season, 49-14, so they defeated them in a rematch. They lost to Logan 14-6. Wow, Clay County played Calhoun County. Wow, that's rough. And then, Clay County only beat Braxton County by 2. I was actually thinking about taking Clay County in this one, but now that I'm looking at the record, I don't think so. I'm taking Philip Barber.
I already had Philip Barber.
Okay. He did his research. I did not. Anyways.
I filled my bracket out last week, just for the record. The only games I've switched are the upsets that I didn't have predicted correctly, and I'm going to stick with my bracket as we go.
This might be the best 4 or 5 matchup in the entire state. Independence 10-1 against Doddridge County 11-0 at Independence. Doddridge County ends its undefeated run here. I'm taking Independence.
I'm going to take Independence, but I will tell you I'll be rooting for Doddridge County. When is this game played?
Friday night. I ain't going. Do you know how far Independence is from here?
I was thinking to myself it was in Doddridge. I was going to pick the girl.
I was
going to pick the girl up and go 10 minutes up the road and watch it.
If it was in Doddridge, yeah, I'd think about going. But it's not in Doddridge.
No,
so
can't make that.
Bridgeport. Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Independence. Okay. Chance, be a line maker. What would you spot in points for Doddridge County? I'd be willing to spot them 6.5, 1 touchdown.
I was going to go 10.5. That was truly what I was thinking in my head.
Okay. All right. We move on to Single A. Are we shocked that Wheeling Central won?
No.
Are we shocked at how well Wheeling Central won?
No.
Wahama beats Man 48-22. By the way, this was played at Wahama's field. Won't be playing there this week, though. They will be playing at Point Pleasant. 48-22. Surprised by that?
I'm surprised they switched fields, yes.
Oh, you're saying you're surprised that they played at Wahama? Because they did play the last week at Point Pleasant, didn't they? Although it was probably just due to the monsoon of rain.
It's shocking to me. I mean, but they are built more for speed, so maybe going on the turf is an advantage to them doing it. But, I mean, I'd want to play on my home field if that was me. But
Clay-Battelle defeats Ritchie County 44-8. Chance? Innocent bystander over in Philadelphia. Were you surprised by the margin of victory?
Us over Ritchie, I will say no. I was more shocked by the point of how close it was at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I messaged you and Jonathan. I said that I think we're just working out the playoff butterflies. I think things are going to be all right. At that point in time, I went to get a bite to eat at the Reading Terminal in Pennsylvania and couldn't hear the game. So the next time I got the game, you guys were talking about the point. It was 44 or 44-8, I think it was. And I was like, okay, we woke up.
Pendleton County defeated Greenbrier West 60-7. I am surprised at how many points Pendleton County put up.
The team's more scary than I thought after seeing that, is what I'll say.
Glad I don't have to play them until Charleston.
Yep.
Really glad that I don't have to play them until Charleston. Makes me a little bit more confident.
The best game in single A this week, as much as I like Wahama and Cameron versus each other, Pendleton and East Hardy, I think, because it was a shootout, I believe, for a while. It's like 54-36, I think, was the final score, somewhere around there.
Let me look that up for you real quick. It was 57-36. You were correct. In week 2, by the way.
And I think East Hardy has improved. I think Pendleton's improved. And I think that could be a really fun game to either watch or listen to if we get a chance.
Do you want to say? Oh, okay. Actually, let's go East Hardy and Sherman. The upset heard around the world that none of us were shocked about. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I feel like I was trying to hold it in, the shouting part, getting the holding called on me.
Anyway, I'll save this one for last. But Cameron defeated Meadow Bridge 46-8. By the way, this was tied at 8 after Cameron took their first possession down, scored, got the 2-point conversion, went up 8-0. Meadow Bridge went down the field, scored, tied it up at 8.
That shocks me. I didn't know that.
And Cameron proceeded to let them do absolutely nothing the entire rest of the game. Tucker County defeated Tug Valley 42-28. To tell you the truth, Chance, I was kind of surprised at how close this was for a long period of time. Tug Valley actually put up some points against Tucker County, a tough road opponent when you're beaten and battered and injured. I think that just goes to show how good Tug Valley could be in the next for the next couple of years.
Agreed. And Tucker's been one of them teams. If you look at their schedule, there's wins on there. You ask where they came from, and there's losses on there. You ask where they came from. Has probably been the most inconsistent football team in West Virginia this year. Just like there's no way to predict what they could do. It's almost one of them. You look at Wheeling Central and Tucker, and you say Wheeling Central wins hands down, but there is a couple of those victories you see by Tucker on the schedule, and you're kind of like, could they be the team that, delivers the David versus Goliath blow?
Okay, so let's go right there. 2 teams with 7 wins. No laugh there.
They both got 7 wins. They've one of them has played 11 games. One of them has played 9.
Yeah. That was the joke.
I know what the joke was.
Okay.
I just wasn't laughing.
Yeah, he just doesn't find it a funny matter. Okay. Friday night. Okay.
I like that.
So, Tucker County versus Wheeling Central. If I were to spot you 21.5 points, would you take Tucker County?
I would not. I just think it's that inconsistency of their season. I could not gamble on them to keep it close.
Man, I wish Point Pleasant was a little bit. Or do you want me to save that?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna say Wheeling Central.
Okay.
And we'll move to that game though.
The Wahama Cameron game.
Yeah, go ahead with it.
But I'm gonna take Wheeling Central too. But if you spotted me 21.5 points, I think I'd take Tucker County. Wahama versus Cameron to be played at Point Pleasant High School on Friday night. Once again, gosh, I wish Point Pleasant was closer because I'd probably go to that game.
You just got to watch. The bridge gets a little shaky down there sometimes.
That's the Tinky Winky Bridge.
A little shaky.
Yeah, but
little Mothman.
Do you know that the new bridge has like purple lights on it?
Did not know that.
Yeah, we call it the Tinky Winky Bridge.
The Tinky Winky Bridge.
Okay.
I'm surprised they didn't put red lights up there so it looked like red eyes at all times.
Cameron versus Wahama. Chaz, you think this game is going to be close?
I do.
Tell me why. And give me, and I don't know if you're going to take Cameron here, but if you are going to take Wahama, give me how many points you would spot Wahama, and I'll let you know if I would take it.
I'm going to take Wahama, and if I had to spot, it'd be 8.
Okay, give me why it would be that close.
I think Cameron plays the run really, really well, and that's what Wahama's going to want to do.
I think Wahama wins this by like 3 scores. I think they're that good, Chance. I really do. Anyways, Friday night. Okay. Last game on this list, East Hardy versus Pendleton County in a Saturday afternoon. Probably a shootout. I'm going to take Pendleton County in this, but it's more out of hope because I think Pendleton County has more of a shot at beating Wheeling Central than East Hardy does. And maybe I'm wrong. Honestly, maybe I'm wrong.
I think either one of these teams, like if you went through all
I'm
8,
not going to spot any points here because I'm just going to say pick them.
I kind of feel that way too. Like there's 8 teams on that side of the bracket, 7 of them with a chance at Wheeling Central. And if I had to guess, these were easily the top 2 out of those 7 that have a chance, I feel, of beating Wheeling Central if they're to do it. I almost want to say East Hardy has the better chance because I feel the experience that they always have of being in the playoffs is helpful. But Pendleton's kind of been on that roll lately too. But I'm going to take Pendleton.
All right. I'm also, like I say, I'm going to take Pendleton. Okay. That is going to do it for the quarterfinals episode. We will do a semifinals episode regardless of what the result happens this week is. However, hope to be talking another preview with you.
I do. I want to bring up something about the Cameron-Wahama game.
Okay.
Chip on the shoulder.
For?
Somebody wants payback for last year.
I didn't really think about that. That's a good point, Chance.
And
I really didn't think about that.
There's senior leadership on that side of Cameron that I think wants that win really, really bad. And that quarterback wants it.
That quarterback wants it, yeah. And they're well coached. Both teams are well coached.
They are.
Let's be real here. So you're back for the rest of the season. Hopefully you get to call a couple more games. Hopefully I get to call a couple more games. By the way, if we do advance, I have been told that no matter what, I will be calling that game. So don't have to worry about it there. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
I just say it's going to be on the radio. Want to bring that up?
Terrestrial radio.
So
if you want to share the stream for it to people outside the listening area, it's the same stream that I sent out last week, and I'll send it out again before the game. That won't be a problem. The only thing is there might be a little bit of overlap. Once again, if the Spring Mills Morgantown game goes a little bit over, it should be done, I'd say an hour, maybe a half hour before our game gets started. It is set to start at 1. Our game starts at 4. So you might have like a little bit of catch up.
They're both running teams. I got a feeling it'll be over. The only way it's not over is if
it goes into overtime.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and to the Morgantown fans, if there's anybody listening who's a little Clay-Battelle curious, I guess you could call it, as soon as you're done at Morgantown, West Virginia's not playing. Come out to Louis and Joe Statler Athletic Complex over in Blacksville and come watch another good football game. These are 2 good teams. One of them, I believe, is great. And one of them's not satisfied with just being good, as Aaron Lepeau likes to say. We should have decent weather. It's not going to be. It's going to get a little bit chilly once the sun goes down. So be sure to bring your blankets. Be sure to bring your layers. But you're only going to
bring your cowbells
and bring your cowbells. Hey, I have seen some mass orders going on around the Clay-Battelle community for cowbells.
I mean, you always need more cowbell.
You do always need more cowbell. I think that's a good place to leave.
I will say this. I think that stadium this week
is going to be at its most full.
Will be rowdier and fuller than we've seen all year, because I will give the Wirt County fans credit. They can be verbal. They can be loud. And I think it will be a loud stadium. Well, I know. Just saying. I mean, I know that we're
we
backtracking.
got to that. I guess I should say.
Yeah, like I know we're going to speak about that, and we're recording in reverse here, but I do think like Wirt County's fans travel well.
Yeah, they do.
And,
they always have.
And I think it will be a very good stadium on both sides. We need the Clay-Battelle fans to keep showing up. They've been showing up lately, and they need them to cancel whatever plans they had on Saturday at 4:00 and make sure they make it out there.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the pregame show, quarterfinals edition. We will see you at the stadium Saturday afternoon or early evening, depending on how you like to say things, at 4:00, and we'll see you then. Let's go Seabees. Thanks for listening.